The final score, Wrexham 1, Notts County 0. I'm Mark Griffiths from Wrexham AFC, and normal service has been resumed. That's certainly how it felt. That was a fabulous day out at the Stoke Kairas. Comparable in terms of atmosphere and, I would argue, in terms of performance to what we've had in the real high spots under Rob, Ryan, and Phil. That was a brilliant afternoon, not least because we've had a rough ride of it and we needed something like that. But that was one of the special ones, and I think that gives us great momentum to carry on into the coming weeks. Obviously, we lost 4 games in a row. Last Saturday against Bradford, I didn't think the performance was bad at all. It just felt like there was something lacking in that wonderful certainty that this Wrexham team has, that at home, with that fabulous away home support, that we will make something happen. That just seemed lacking. We just didn't quite have the decisiveness in the box. And yeah, although I thought the performance was okay for the first time in a long time, I thought, oh, we may not score here. This game against Notts County, after the crucial 3 points of midweek, as I said on Tuesday, never mind the quality, feel the result. This felt important. Notts County, of course, such terrific rivals over the last year or so, and sides with a style of play that can smother a team, and Wrexham handled it superbly. A couple of changes from that game at Sutton. Crucially, Ryan Barnett's coming in on the right. No insult to Luke Bolton, who's unlucky to miss his place, but Barnett would go on to play a massive role. And also, in a game like that, a big game against a side that he's hurt before, you've got to get Mullin back in, especially after his sharp, brief cameo on Tuesday off the bench. And it went very well throughout. I thought we had control pretty much throughout the game of one sort or another. And yet we could have been behind after mere seconds. I think this was down to the way we've succeeded against Notts County in the past. And the way we responded to it was brilliant. Because within a few moments, we really should have been behind. We've had good success our last 2 games against Notts County with our wide centre-backs stepping out to counteract the attacking players in their box midfield. So if McGoldrick's on the left of their box midfield going forwards, then our right-sided centre-back will step out to stop him from making further progress. And in both cases, we completely cut off the supply to Macaulay Langstaff. Now, the thing was, Notts County lined up differently this time. Langstaff, with the sort of notional starting position on the left, he often exchanged positions with McGoldrick up front. But the thing is that he could drift into the box and hope to be undetected, especially against a team playing 3 at the back like we do. And they did that instantly. Not a criticism on the Wrexham centre-backs for the decision-making in this move, but the ball's played into midfield. Boyle stepped up to try and close down, as per the old plan, which I'm sure was also still the plan, if you see what I mean. That meant that Cleworth and O'Connell had to shuffle across a bit, and then Crowley played a lovely ball into the far post. Barnett was still a bit up the pitch because, of course, we want our wing-backs to be at the pitch, and I thought Langstaff was able to drift in and was completely unmarked 6 yards out, and to be fair, made decent contact with his diving head. A lovely ball into him by Crowley. Okonkwo did ever so well to react. I mean, it doesn't look like much of a save until you really look at it, but by getting his left knee down, he managed to block it. That's a hell of a save, not only in terms of quality, not only in terms of denying Macaulay Langstaff, a terrifically deadly striker from 6 yards out, but also in the context of the game. Now, that context was that Notts County controlled possession completely in the first half. I said before we were in control. I felt that we were, because apart from that one dramatic moment, did County actually get into our box and cause us problems? I don't think so. For the second time in a row, we were patient, and just like at Tuesday, the back three defended the penalty area magnificently. Cleworth, O'Connell and Boyle were all terrific in the air, on the floor, and as a result, although I applaud the way Notts County looked to play, but they were moving the raw ball around in front of us, really, and not causing us much damage. The one threat for me that could have made a difference was Jody Jones. Now, we all know he's a terrific creative player. And that stat's been bandied around in the week leading up to this game that he's got the most assists ever in League Two, and it's only February. And he, on the right hand side, was getting some fabulous shape on his crosses. He was really ripping them into dangerous areas. But he didn't really create chances because, specifically in this case, Owen O'Connell, on at least three occasions, made outstanding defensive interventions inside the 6 yard box to deny Jones. Really brilliant defending, last ditch defending at the highest level. And so Wrexham generally were untroubled. And when those quality crosses came in, we stood up to them and dealt with them. And then got the reward in the 21st minute. We weren't breaking forwards that much in the first half, but when we were, and Phil Parkinson pointed out this was a plan after the match, Barnett on the right was really having to go at Carl Cameron. Parkinson had seen that Carl Cameron, a very good centre-back, played at left-back at Newport, decided that Barnett was the player to get at him. And my word, Barnett did. The first time he ran at Cameron, Cameron did really well to track him, stay close, and block it for a throw-in. That didn't put Barnett off. He knew he was an important part of Parkinson's game plan. And so 4 more times he got the ball on the break and ran at Cameron, got a cross in each time until the 4th, when Barnett took Cameron on. Cameron again did well, got the block in, but he didn't have enough on it to roll out for the throw-in. Barnett could easily have pulled the ball back to James Jones, who was available and was unmarked about 25 yards out on the right flank. But he wanted to make that difference himself. He'd been given that job of delivering, and he did. He kept it in and ripped an absolute beautiful cross to the far post. Stephen Fletcher got up, made contact with a good header. Warner was marking him, touch tight. He jumped with him, and it hit Warner and dropped down. And fabulously, as Fletcher fell, and with Baldwin looking like he was just going to clear it, Fletcher, as he fell, swung a powerful right foot at it and smashed it into the top left corner. Brilliant, improvised, predatory striking and superb agility as well. Fletcher giving us the lead. He likes playing at the racecourse, scoring a goal just over every hour when he plays at the racecourse. And Wrexham had that lead. And although we didn't create much more, we did have that threat on the break. Like I said, Barnett was looking threatening. The midfield were very energetic and were getting good challenges in. Cannon was scurrying around as he always does. Lee, again, the creative side wasn't happening for him that much, but his work rate, again, was excellent. And James Jones coming in on the right side of midfield. I thought he had an excellent game as well, really working hard with and without the ball. And then Fletcher, who was dropping off and helping. Both he and Mullin were pressing really well and trying to stop County from getting at us. And then Fletcher often would drop into midfield and then get important foot in as well. So Wrexham looking good. The chances County carved out in the rest of this half, even though they had a lot of the ball, like I said, were mostly outside the box. Jones finding McGoldrick outside the area. To be fair, it was a hell of a good strike from about 25 yards. It looked to be arrowing into the bottom left corner. Okonkwo lunged down, full stretch, and we know how long his arms are, and made a superb save to push it round the post for a corner. Then a long, patient spell of play by County 10 minutes before the break ended with Jody Jones deciding enough's enough and hitting another 25-yarder. Terrific power. If he got that on target, Okonkwo again would have had to been at his best, but it whistled past the right post and Wrexham were happy. And then the last chance that Notts County made in the first half, and to be honest, for a long time, came in the 37th minute. And, well, it wasn't a chance. It was nearly a very fortunate goal. I mean, fortunate in terms of how it would have gone in, although, to be fair, there was great quality in getting the ball in there. Jones again on the left-hand side, whipping in a ball with terrific shape to the far post. O'Connell, standing on the edge of the 6-yard box, had to do something. He had to intervene. He stretched as high as he could, just got a tiny head to it and knocked it onto the far post and behind for a corner. It would have been really unfair on O'Connell if that had gone in. He had to commit to it. It could have done, though, and Jones's quality there threatening, but it wouldn't really threaten again. Wrexham have finished a half strongly. Firstly, McLean tackling Jody Jones and feeding the ball down the flank to Mullin, who swept a good ball into the far post. Fletcher nodded it down neatly. James Jones decided to take the ball on first time and hit a shot from 20 yards and thrashed it over the bar. Would have been a heck of a goal if it had gone in, and it was nice approach play by Wrexham. And a minute later, Wrexham had to shout for a penalty, which I don't think is a penalty. Ball coming in to Mullen, who did brilliantly to turn Warner in the box. He went down. There was contact. I don't think there's enough to warrant a penalty. But it was good to see Mullen doing that to Warner. And a couple of minutes later, he's forced another mistake with his persistence, and Notts County started to look edgy at the back. And if you thought they looked edgy at the back then, watch the start of the second half, because Wrexham came out all guns blazing. This was a fantastic, confident approach. Chili Barkson said, get closer to them. Don't show them that much respect. Get at them. And we did. And Notts County were penned into the penalty area and defending sometimes quite desperately. There was tempo about how Wrexham were playing, and we were getting shots off on goal from closer range than County did. Quite surprising. It took 7 minutes and a half, really, for us to actually get a good shot off on goal. And it was from a corner, Lee sweeping it into the near post. McLean, like he did against Burton when he scored his first goal for Wrexham, attacking the near post, trying to flick it on. On this occasion, he got too much of it, though, and he put it wide of the near post. But Wrexham were relentless. A couple of minutes later, an absolutely fabulous move, lengthy spell of possession, and then some real one-touch rat-a-tat passing straight to feet. The ball played into Mullen, pops her off first time. Jones first time out wide to Barnett. Barnett rips it to the far post. Lee has done well to get between the defenders. He's unmarked at the far post, but stretching, he can't control his header and puts it wide. Soon afterwards, a corner. McLean sweeps it in. Boyle attacking it at the far post, heads it down into the ground just like he coached to do. But he was so close in, I think he should have probably taken the quickest route from A to B. He headed it down, it bounced up and hit the bar, and County escaped. Just before the hour, County actually had a moment of promise for them. A break down the left-hand side by Jones, who'd been switched flanks, interestingly. I'll get to that in a second. Drove it in. Cleworth, the one small error he made in the game, didn't really manage to deal with it, and it skidded across the goal. There was a scramble on the edge of the 6-yard box. Langstaff tried to swoop in and hit a shot, but he didn't get hold of it, and it was much too straight, and it was a simple stop for Okonkwo. I wonder, did Stuart Maynard, the new county manager, switch Jones's side in order to quieten Barnett down? If so, in a way it worked. Barnett certainly wasn't getting clear runs at Cameron in the second half, but it was achieved at the expense of Jones's creativity, because in the second half, on the left side, Jones is pretty quiet. Admittedly, Nemain, who'd been playing as a fullback behind Jones in the first half, was much more prominent and got into some really promising positions. But unlike Jones, there was no end product to it. And so still the service to the strikers was rare. Wrexham bounced straight back within a minute of that half chance from Langstaff. And Mullen nearly struck, picking it up. Typical Mullen, left-hand side, cutting inside, beating his man and ripping in a shot. A good push round the post by Ashby Hammond. And then Wrexham again threatening through Mullen. An excellent punched ball down the right side by James Jones, exposed Notts County's high line. Mullen one-on-one with the keeper, but he just stumbled as he tried to cut inside, and the opportunity was gone. Such frustration for Mullen, who put in a terrific shift. Another minute later, as the pressure just kept pouring down on County, we nearly got another goal. The ball ricocheting out after a period of pressure to McLean on the left side of the edge of the area. He hit a big swinging left-footed volley, which he didn't get hold of properly, but it screwed off the outside of his foot and hit the bar before skimming over. So close, Wrexham, to taking the second goal. And you started to think, okay, will we regret dominating this game so much and not putting it to bed? It looked like 20 minutes from the end we might do. Cross coming in from the right-hand side from Crowley again. And McGoldrick took it down and lashed it into the net, but the referee disallowed it for handball. It was a big call by the ref. Firstly, amazing eyesight to see it. But I've got to be honest, with naked eye, I didn't see it. First replay, I didn't see it. Second replay, I did. It does hit his arm, sort of elbow height. I think the ref's right to disallow it, but I think the rule's a bit odd now. This idea that you can tuck your arm in and it's not offside. I agree with that. So you stop the ball in the penalty area with your arm tucked in. That's not handball. Yeah. On the halfway line, it's not handball. Yeah. But then there's this additional rule that if you profit from a handball in the box and score, then it's disallowed. Why? If it's not handball in the other box and it's not handball on the halfway line, why should it be a handball in the other box? To me, it's a nonsense rule. Handball is just handball. It either is or it isn't. So I think McGoldrick and Notts County are very unlucky in terms of the rule, but that is the rule, and the ref has to go by that. So I think the refs made an excellent decision to spot it and disallow it. I have a problem with the rule that makes him disallow it, but I think the ref's right, if that makes sense. I think Wrexham would have roared back at County, to be fair. And we did have the next chance, indeed, the only remaining chance, really. Great work down the left by McLean and Cannon. McLean making a crunching tackle. Cannon picking the ball up, dumping the main on his backside, and surging down before playing the ball into the overlapping McLean. He swept in across to Fletcher, who took it beautifully on his chest, just at the right of the penalty spot. But as the ball dropped, couldn't quite keep his shot down. The nature of the game changed a bit in the closing stages. As Parkinson pointed out, Mullin and Fletcher started to tire a bit, so we weren't penning Notts County back with the press as well as we had been. So we brought on Ollie Palmer and Jack Marius up front. And then also Barnett took a knock, worryingly, and Mendy came on to replace him. And we allowed County the ball, as we did in the first half, but equally like we did in the first half, we stood firm and they didn't really create chances. The main, as I said, was getting in some dangerous positions, but nothing came of it. In the last minute, James Jones hurt himself, worryingly again, had to come off. Luke Young came on and Wrexham closed it out well. The noise at the final whistle was reminiscent of Boreham Wood. It was magnificent. It really, truly was. So, a great win for Wrexham. If you win our game in hand, we're equal top now because the teams above us lost really some quite startling results yesterday in League Two. Looking at the performances, well, okay, Okonkwo was excellent. He's made two massive, massive saves that made a huge difference to the match. He was dominant in the air. There was one fun bit, actually, I forgot in the second half, where a cross came in from the right, and Okonkwo actually, it burst through his hands, and so standing at like a yard out from his goal, he just very casually turned backwards and just caught it one-handed, like you do. Gazed at it for a moment, like Hamlet looking at Yorick's skull, and then just calmly carried on with his game. I just beautiful natural attributes he has. I love that guy. The centre backs, all three of them as a unit and individually, absolutely superb. We made O'Connell man of the match in the commentary box unanimously. The way he handled Jones's crosses, the way he handled McGoldrick and Langstaff when they came inside, absolutely outstanding. No other way to describe it. I remember writing a piece on him after we drew at Bradford, saying that he put in a real performance of quality. And people remember goal-scoring performances or goalkeeping performances. Centre-backs maybe don't get that really high praise, but I thought he deserved it on that occasion. Well, I think he's put together two back-to-back games of that quality as well now. O'Connell, absolutely through the roof. Brilliant performance. Cleworth again. Which game was it? There was a game, a high-stakes, big home game. I can't think which one it was this season, where Cleworth was a bit defensively minded at the start. And clearly had been told at half-time, don't worry, get out there. I remember Tozer coming across at the start of the first half when he tried a forwards pass and it didn't work. Clearly to encourage him, don't worry about that. You did the right thing. Don't worry about making mistakes. Keep being positive. Well, he didn't need to be told that today. He was excellent and he came forwards when he needed to and contributed well to the attacks. Defensively, he was terrific. He kept tight to O'Connell, and again, we just defended those balls into the area so well. Boyle again, I mean, what a redemption story. Fair play to the guy. He defended that box heroically as ever. With Boyle, if he's going to do well, he's going to be, like I say, heroic. He'll hurl himself at the ball. He'll win powerful headers. And huge kudos to him. Coming back from that red card at Notts County, that could have done a player in. That was brilliant from him. On the flanks, Barnett was massive in our success, especially in the first half. He was given the job of taking down Cameron and putting quality in the box. Did it to a T. Absolutely superb. On the left, McLean was all action, all aggression, getting strong tackles in on players like Jones just to make them think twice before they ran at him again. And just constantly up and down the line, as he always is. It's huge credit to him. Hit the bar as well. Great shift. Three central midfielders, like I said, Cannon was all energy, carrying the ball forwards, intelligent passing. Lee again, working very hard, covering really well for McLean when he went forwards. And then on the other side, James Jones, constant running, with and without the ball, spot on. really tight, strong midfield unit. And then up front, Fletcher's just a phenomenon, isn't he? He makes things happen. He's an exciting player to watch, and he was a handful. He troubled those Notts County centre backs. And Mullin, frustrating for him. A couple of moments things didn't quite come off for him, but the fact of the matter is, he worked and worked again. He closed Notts County down so well. His running was excellent. He was dragging players about. He was getting into space. Huge credit again to him. Every single player deserved a massive pat on the back for this. And the subs as well. We brought 4 players on. Palmer was immediately aggressive and running at people, looking like he had a point to prove, and did really well. Marius carried on from Sutton, trying to make runs over the top, and he was quicker than the centre-backs and gave them a real issue, and fought really hard for everything as well, stopping them from getting the ball out. Mendy was terrific, because Jones, I think, had the beating of Barnett, to be fair, down our left-hand side. And so we had to make sure we tried to double up with him. But Mendy came on, and wow, Mendy just had Jones in his pocket, got a couple of good strong block tackles in early on, had a good breakaway later on as well. It was really impressive little 10-minute cameo from Mendy. Young only came on a minute before the final, the 90, but still made an impact, just like Sutton. Great foot in, challenging for everything. It was great. It was a fabulous performance. Like I said, we felt in control throughout, whether we were without the ball or with it. I didn't feel County really troubled us too much. And, I know they're not doing as well as they were, say, 2 months ago? But County are a quality side, as you can see. And if you let them have their own way, they'll destroy you. And we didn't. Great performance by Wrexham. The atmosphere, everything. Just what you want. A memorable day at the Stoke Kairas. With a final score of Wrexham 1, Notts County 0, I'm Mark Griffiths from Wrexham AFC.